Welcome to another new video. My name is Tanuj Kumar and I am here with my team to discuss the solution of problem which were discussed in the previous video on challenges to healthcare workers in India. If you have not watched that previous video, then you can watch it from the link given in the description box. In this video, we will be showing the contents of the discussion and afterwards our team members will present the solution. So please watch the video till end and don't forget to like and share the video. And also gives your valuable suggestion in the Google form provided in the description. From here, I would like to call Harshit to carry forward.
So hello everyone, my name is Harshit and so first of all let's look what were the problems in the last video. So they are first doctor density ratio, then shortage of skilled medical workforce, third lack of health awareness, fourth healthcare affordability, fifth less hospitals in remote locations, sixth crumbling health infrastructure, seventh rural-urban disparity, and last, health care access and quality. So out of these 8 problems which we have discussed in the previous video, we have selected 5 major problems which we will be discussing in this video. So we will be using brainstorming ideation technique to discuss about the solutions in this video. So let's start with Ayush, Vibhu and Gaurav.
Okay, so as we have discussed in our previous video, that doctor density ratio is one of the important issue related to the healthcare. So for this, having AI powered robots as doctor nurses will provide the solution to some extent. When we have limited resources and limited supply of skilled caregivers, it is necessary to find ways to use technology to maximize their throughput without sacrificing on quality and outcomes. So having AI powered robots can reduce the shortage of manpower in the healthcare. Okay, basically it helps in maximizing the productivity. This will allow medical professionals to concentrate on other relevant areas, thus leading to optimal productivity at the end of the day. As well, robots can also be used to nurse the diseased patients, which could finally guarantee near perfect isolation rooms to treat people with contagious disease like COVID-19. If we could have had the robotic nurses right now, we could have saved thousands of medical personnel who got infected at the time of treating the patients.
Yeah, yes, you are correct, but it may lead to unexpected complications and may put the entire infrastructure into trouble. Consider if robot makes mistake. Who do you blame? The thing is, you don't have anyone specific to blame. How can you punish a robot? If not them, then who? The creator, the surgeon, who used it? This is illegally a gray area. Due to this, it has been under a lot of controversies, especially in ethics domain.
Yes, Gaurav, you are absolutely right. At the same time, we cannot ignore their prohibited cost. The robotic system used in medical procedure are incredibly expensive, and obviously not all institutions can afford to purchase, install, operate, and maintain them.
Yeah, Vibhu, affordability cost is a barrier, although scientists and mechatronic engineers are hopeful that with time the cost will drop significantly once it come into the mainstream. Also, AI robots can be developed as great as we possibly can, but it will always require a human touch. Especially in the medical sector, robots won't be able to stand alone, and nor will be doctors. So they both need to go hand in hand, and they will have a better medical structure possible.
Thanks Ayush, Gaurav and Vibhu for discussing on the problem doctor density ratio. And yes, like you said, having AI powered robots as doctor and nurses can be one of the very good solution of this problem. Now I would like to call Yash, Rajsri and Sapna to discuss on the solutions on our next problem.
Thank you, Harshit. Previously, we have discussed that lack of medical awareness is one of the important barriers to healthcare access. So, I think the solution to the problem of affordability of healthcare lie in local and national initiatives. The government needs to price the services in a serious manner. Today, in most of the states, health schemes of central government do not have perfect pricing system, which actually should be based on open tender or more funding on medical and nursing colleges and technical training centers would help. Increase the existing number of seats or open new colleges in more locations. This would produce more number of skilled medical manpower to cater to the huge demands of our population. Technology like telemedicine and could increase the reach of public healthcare, and technology like EMR and big data analytics could provide vital insights to governments, policymakers, doctors, and all stakeholders to improve public health and deal with epidemics and disease outbreaks. Now I would like to call Sapna for further solutions.
You have provided nice solution of the problem, but I have question regarding solution, that is lack of awareness is due to the absence, inaccessibility or inaccuracy of information, which is sometimes made harder by the cultural taboos, myths and fear, which can stop people from taking prevention action or seeing doctors. For example, 1 out of 4 people in Africa believes that cancer has no cure, and only 36% see cancer as a major health issue. So, how can we solve this? Lack of awareness is not only dangerous in terms of worsening health outcomes, it can also be division in society and can affect quality of life. For example, a young child with hemophilia cannot be invited to a friend's birthday party because the hosts are scared to invite the hemophilic. So my question, how can we solve this major problem?
Sapna, your points are valid. That are the loopholes in the solution that provided by Rasi. But I would like to say that mental health disorder in students is a complex issue that requires a coordinated effort and multi-level approach from parents, schools, healthcare organization, digital media outlets, and community outreach also. It is important for the teachers that provided students with the opportunities, resources, and support they needed. Here are 7 ways you can promote mental health awareness in your school. First one is promote positive self-esteem. This will provide a student with the tools and skills necessary to resolve conflict and the inevitable setbacks they will face. The second one is boost their self-confidence by supporting good decision making, assertiveness, perseverance, and self-determination. Next one is encourage students to eat healthy and provide healthy eating options. Provide outlets to relieve anxiety and stress. Physical activity, meditation, and the arts are super for self-expression, growth, and work wonders on the students' overall mental health and ability to handle stress. Also, promote school policies that support mental health, such as bullying prevention, display relevant materials to students and families, such as the materials found in the website of National Alliance on Mental Illness and the World Health Organization. Have an open door policy to communicate to your students that you are available to listen to their concerns and issues. Communicate openly, honestly, and often. Notice the little conservational openers student may offer and ask non-judgmental questions. Be sure that pause and listen to what they have to say. Provide places where students can relax, such as quiet areas and lounge chairs. These are the major loop solution that will fill the loopholes of the solution that provided by Rashri. This will help a lot. As you said that in Africa, the students face major mental issues. These are the solutions.
Thank you, Yash, Rajsri, and Sapna for discussing on the solutions of the problem lack of health awareness. Now, I would like to call Sonali, Divyaranjan, and Ayush Singhal to discuss on the solutions of our next problem.
Thank you, Harshit, for calling. So previously we have discussed about the problem of affordability of healthcare services. In a country such as India, and for a high investment sector like healthcare, it will never be possible to solve the affordability issue by simply attacking the cost side. So to make the healthcare services affordable to all citizens, this government should focus on healthcare financing, particularly for the part of population that cannot afford healthcare. Strategic alliances between medtech companies and providers can also help cut down costs and significantly improve accessibility. The government of India must ensure that pharmaceutical and medical firms are accountable to transparency and refrain from regular price hike. Tax-free laws, land-based clinic construction programs, preferential interest rates, and bank loans should be introduced, which will change the face of India's healthcare infrastructure. Now, I would like Ayush to further go ahead with his views on the topic.
Thank you, Sonali, for sharing your opinions to this topic. I would like to add some points. A major measure towards improve affordability would be increase in the quota kept for healthcare system in the GDP, which stands at less than 2% in the current scenario. In order to tackle the problem of access to healthcare services for all, steps can be taken towards an all India prepaid health card, which will provide subsidies to the weaker sections of the society.
I agree with you, Ayush. But can you tell me how beneficial will a scheme like All India Prepaid Health Card be for the masses in terms of access and safety?
Yes, in order to provide a safe database for easy access to services, linking of Aadhaar and biometric information to an individual's account at the time of registration can be taken into consideration. An individual enrolled into the service will get offers on the health card along with attached database, which will provide a sense of encouragement for both the users and future enrollments. Thank you.
Thanks, Sonali, Ayush, and Divyaranjan for sharing your solutions on the topic healthcare affordability. And of course, your solution about the health prepaid card was good, and you also discussed the problems of its security. Now, I would like to call Harshit, Aryan, and Sital to discuss the solution of our next problem.
Thanks, Tanush, for calling. So previously we have discussed that remote location of hospital is one of the important barriers to healthcare access. So I think providing better infrastructure in hospitals in rural areas like emergency theaters with all necessary faculties installed, doctors do not have to depend on any urgent or immediate aid or medication much of which cannot be fulfilled in rural or remote areas.
Yes, Aryan, improving facilities in rural hospitals may prove to be a desirable solution. But I want to highlight the most determining factor that doctor most doctor mostly accept offer to practice in those where there are favorable opportunities like high income areas which are quite natural. Working in private sector has been seen as a most enriching experience whereas the public sector often proves to be humiliating and demoralizing experience.
Yes, Harshit, your point of view makes complete sense to me. So I think that this can be overcome by opening up various private malfunctioning hospitals so that doctors should get attractive opportunities to go to the rural areas. Building city-like infrastructure such as malls and schools that will generate more amount of doctors to reach there as they will be getting all benefits they get in towns. But there is very lack of health awareness among the rural population, which may ruin the entire setup. What do you think on it, Aryan?
Yes, I totally agree with you, Sital. But I think more and more awareness programs should be conducted so that people lead a healthy life, which also includes physical exercise and eating healthy. But industries should join hands in the initiation of coming up with healthcare faculties in rural areas, thus making India a completely safe and healthy country. Thank you.
Thanks, Harshit, Sital, and Aryan for sharing your solutions on the topic place hospitals in remote locations.
Next, I would like to call Yash Nayan and Ayush Jha to discuss about the solutions of the next topic.
Thank you, Archit. My problem was how we lack healthcare access and quality in India. So I am going to discuss my solutions over the problem that I have discussed the previous video. So I am sharing one major solution that will affect healthcare system up to very much extent. My suggestion is that expenses over healthcare system should be increased or set to 10 to 15% of country's GDP. This will increase doctors and paramedical forces recruitment. And second is the largest and very important, that in every area, we can say mohalla in Hindi means neighborhood or community, there should be at least one mohalla clinic that will work directly under their respective city hospital. This makes everyone to access to healthcare very easy and convenient, as they will be present in their local. So if we can see live example of Mohalla Clinic scheme in the Delhi. Delhi government has launched Aam Aadmi Mohalla Clinics, also known as Mohalla Clinics, are primary health centers in the Union Territory of New Delhi in India. They offer a basic package of essential health services, including medicines, diagnostics, and consultation that is free of cost. These clinics serve as the first point of contact for the population. It offers timely services and reduces the load of referrals to secondary and tertiary health facilities in the state.
Yes, Nian, Mohalla Clinic is one of the very solution. But I want to share with you the another side of this Mohalla clinics. Okay, so in this clinics, limited range of tests are provided, and even though free of cost, but till now only limited tests have been conducted. In the absence of needed facility, the doctors are forced to refer to patient to the private hospitals. Also, there is an issue of unpaid doctors as well. Although the clinic is free for the patients, but the doctors don't work for free of cost. Doctor requires some edible payment. So doctors at Mohalla clinics are paid just rupees 30 per patient and work on commission basis, which questions their job security as well.
Ayush, your point was very valid, but as I have said in the starting of my point, that we should share up to 10 to 15% of country's GDP on our health expenses. This will not burden to the government, and it will make access to run the mohalla clinics with free of cost to the first step of healthcare system. As in Delhi, we can see that Mohalla clinics was first set up by Aam Aadmi Party government in 2015, and as of 2020, 450 such clinics have been set up across the city and serve more than 16.24 million residents of Delhi. The government has kept a promise of setting up 1,000 such clinics in the city before 2020 Delhi Legislative Assembly election. According to the World Health Organization, data for the year 2015 was more than 65% of population of India paid for health from their own pocket. The Hindu, meanwhile, reported in the 2017 that only 17% of people in the country have health insurance. The idea behind the initiative is that India being one of the largest out-of-pocket health expenditure and least convergence of health insurance in the world, it can offer the free health service in the form of Mohalla clinics, thus to help reduce the financial burden on low-income households by saving the travel cost and lost of wages. So this is my solution over the Ayush topic, that he have said that there should be many expenses if we run Mohalla clinics free of cost.
Thank you, Yash and Ayush, for discussing on the problem, healthcare access and quality. And yes, uh, the Mohalla clinic was a very good solution of this problem. And thank you everyone for watching this video. And don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. And also give your valuable suggestions in the Google form link, which is given in the description box. Thank you.